Hello, everybody. This is Dave Robinson, father of Geologist Daniel Cornelius Robinson. I want to tell you guys up front, I've been trying to work all day on this internet. I think that's, this morning about my bandwidth, how the live this morning was going just the way it's off here, really, guys. So you see a lot of hesitation tonight, but the words very clearly. How the things I just want to discuss. I will have on one of my family friends and also director for Dan Ross Foundation, former law enforcement, well as other hats they wear. Will be on tonight as well with me when I come back on the second part. I just want to tell you guys up front. The first thing I saw, and I want to put it up. This is one of my brother's arm. He's been in Afghanistan with me, fighting for this country. This is the first thing I really seen when I was actually putting my eyes on the chats as I was loading up the beginning of this live news. Will come out soon. The eyes of the Lord is everywhere. I really appreciate, brother, you putting that up there. That really is something that came on at the right time. You know, like what you said there is a mouthful. Sometimes God put people in to say certain things at the right time. You guys probably, those who live in Phoenix, Arizona, probably know what's going on right now. Some news that I have gotten that really. So again, talk. Thank you so much for just putting that out right now, putting that up there because definitely did us here. So I truly appreciate it. That's the first thing I saw. But I want to thank everybody who came in the chat. Thank you all. I just wanted to make sure I let you guys know what I will be talking about tonight. Some of the mail-in protests, of course. Also, the unit Candlelight Vigil. Again, sorry you guys, but I hope you guys can hear me. I may end up doing it the way I see some other content creators would do, is to want to keep myself there. So I will, like I said, have a special guest on, and we will be talking about a lot. But I was looking at this feed, and I really am not satisfied with that right now. But yes, there's some news that came out of in Arizona as well. I'm getting ready for this live tonight. Blew me away, you guys. Blew me away. Because all kind of thoughts, and I got bombarded by many of the local media. It really caught me off guard. Something that happened before that. So I probably have some questions in the chats. You guys, like I said, you guys know how this go. Anybody having a question, whether you're media or anything, question, starting off with the capital letter Q, the word question or question mark before that's going to say they would like to come in and ask questions tonight on this live. So if you are from media, again, everyone knows that you need to pick the question there first, question mark, capital letter Q, something that could show me as I'm coming down the comment section to see your comments. But again, like I said, we've been talking those items, and also what I have found out today, that came out of the police department today. And I would discuss that with my brother, my friend, as well as a team member, 18 member. He and I will be discussing some of those things and his thoughts on a lot of other things. So again, thank you guys for being on. I'll see you on the other side.
Daniel Robinson went missing 4 months ago. This is the last photo his family has of him. He's a 24-year-old geologist, last seen leaving his job site in Buckeye, Arizona.
As the Gabby Petito homicide case garners national attention, another young person has been missing for nearly 3 months, and his family is desperate to find him. 24-year-old Daniel Robinson, a geologist, was last seen on the morning of June 23rd, leaving his work site in the desert of Buckeye, Arizona.
David Robinson had only one thought on his mind as he drove the nearly 1,800 miles from his South Carolina home to Phoenix.
I had to find my son. And I'm continually searching for him. Again, you guys, thank you so much for coming in this evening's Primetime Live. I'm David Robinson, the father is Daniel Cornelius Robinson, my son Daniel, a geologist that graduated from the College of Charleston in Charleston, South Carolina. My son graduated again in the field of geology, graduated with honors. He took his career, his science, and everything about him out to Arizona. He landed his first job in Phoenix, Arizona, where he was residing when he first got there. He started a job with a company called Matrix New World, also called Matrix Southwest Groundwater. They hired him on as a field geologist, also called a hydrogeologist. His job entails going to various sites, whether it's well sites to groundwater testing. He go to these sites to assess these groundwaters to see if they can produce at least 100 years of water. That's something required by law in Arizona. Arizona is a desert state. His job is very important. So definitely is very crucial to have geologists like my son to be able to help determine if these groundwaters and these can support communities as well as waters are safe to drink. The community do have those water tested as well. On June 23rd, my son was out doing 2 well sites. He got assignment to 2 well sites. He completed the first well site visit. I'm not really sure exactly to the date or exactly what happened, but I do know my son took pictures of logs that morning, around 7 o'clock that morning, of logs there at the first well site. And then he was supposedly be venturing off to the second well site, where you guys know where the story went left when things started going haywire and wrong. That's where the narrative about my son's disappearance began. So I've been fighting for Daniel since June 26th. I got out to Arizona. You guys know the story is the reason why, because of the slow action of law enforcement. The assumption and also the, for lack of words, they was out to the assumptions that Daniel wanted to go missing. They had an opinion about that. He's a grown man. If he want to disappear, if he can. Those things were something I recognized quickly, that would say they weren't going out for Daniel for one thing. The other part is that the first crucial moments are very important when you need to find a missing loved one. I credit that to the reason why Daniel is still missing to this day. Some of those reasons. Again, tonight, I came in tonight to talk to you guys about the mail-in protest that you guys know we're doing, as well as the Unity Candlelight Vigil that I would have for June the 23rd. This what people call the anniversary date of my son being missing. It'd be 2 years on June the 23rd. And I want to talk about that, but I did on the preparation, like I said tonight, to get this live on. I got bombarded by local news channels telling me that the Buckeye Police Department released a report. You guys know last year the Buckeye Police Department scrubbed that report from the public. You guys couldn't get it. My reasoning and my beliefs was because of the contradictions in that report. Like I said, the guys that gave me an original report, they gave me a partial report, and they actually went around and changed paragraphs and things to fit what I thought was a narrative. So, of course, they pulled that off the line, but now it's back. Only thing I found so far from hearing from the reporters, I haven't gone through it yet, you guys. I think the page is a good lengthy report. I will be going through that and scrubbing through it and see what they're talking about. But the things I did hear up front from the reporters, there was 4 things they was highlighting they claim was new. 3 of which was information that I gave to the Buckeye Police Department. They are currently, in my opinion, seeking credit for. as well as to make it seem like new evidence or something there, finding towards finding Daniel. Those things I want to make sure you guys in front, when you guys hear about some of those things, those are false. Those are things that I've given up to the Buckeye Police Department in 2021 to look into. The lastly thing was something with the cell phone, putting Daniel. It's not cell phone pings. I don't want to make sure you guys don't get confused. It's not labeled as cell phone pings, but data in the phone. I have the phone currently, you guys. The phone was given to me quickly, a couple days after it was found on the scene. I have been through that phone as well, forensically, and the data they claim is there. I haven't. Data wasn't pulled from that phone with that data, but I can tell you what they're saying, what they found in the phone data-wise, is contradictory to the report from the vehicle itself. They place in the accident that happened at 10 o'clock in the morning with the phone, him being in that scene out there at 10 o'clock in the morning. The accident didn't happen. You guys know it didn't happen until 1 o'clock that evening. So it's impossible for that phone to be that phone or that car, the vehicle, the Jeep, to be there in that ravine at 10 o'clock a.m. You guys, so those are the questions that we will be going over. I'm glad they put that out to the public, because those things will be very much scrutinized, you guys, and that's what we're going at right now. But thank you so much, everybody, for coming to chats. We'll be discussing that a little farther. If my brother on, we'll be talking about some of those things. But currently, I just want to start off with saying thank you guys for joining in this evening. And as always, you guys have any questions, put the word question first, the question mark, capital letter Q before your questions. That's coming down. I can see it. I want to apologize again for the bandwidth that I'm having. I've been having that problem all day today. It's been this morning. I did everything I can from turning things off to make sure I get more bandwidth. So I'm thinking it's a problem with the network itself, because I did everything to try to clear this up. So you might see a lot of freezing up or some other technical issues. I apologize up front if things go sour. I'm working on that. But I'm going to try my best to go ahead and go through this, and I hope you guys can at least hear what I have to say. Again, thanks, Sophia, for being here, moderating, the team showing out tonight. I really appreciate you being here. Of course, Sophia is the treasurer for the Daniel Robinson Foundation, also doing other things among being my friend as well. I say team member. We need to pray, say a prayer for David before this starts. Yes, you guys. Like I said, she's right. I was caught off guard. I was caught off guard. It's not something new with the Buckeye Police Department. I was caught off guard before with something they throw out. And what was the hurt part is, you guys, for me, is that things get put out in the public for you guys to dissect and tear apart without them first coming to a family member and let us know what their plans are to the public. And see, that's the reason why some of the disrespect and the respect I don't have for the department is because of some of their actions and the way they do things. I really need to make sure that Daniel's case is being handled with the department that will honor and do things a proper way, as well as utilize those skills and knowledge. Because I really need a second look on Daniel's case. I hear they did a second FBI case briefing. We'll be talking about it as well. You guys know the first case briefing with the FBI didn't go too well. It's something I requested in a long letter. I still have that letter. I sent out to Chief Hall, CC the governor, the mayor there of Buckeye, as well as the city managers and so on, some of the other officials in that letter requesting the FBI to come and take a look into the case, which Chief Hall at the time, you guys remember, agreed to that. And, of course, because of the CNN interview, he had no choices. Plus, with the information I put on that letter describing my son went missing in a crime scene. You can't deny that. Let's let the FBI look in it. But you guys know that also there was a request along with that that I be a part of that case brief myself, my attorney. They did it secretly, didn't respond, did it secretly, but came back to me and said the FBI, they did a case briefing with the FBI, but they told me the FBI, you, Mr. Robinson, are doing such a great job on your own. We don't. And that was a slap in my face to myself and my family. Again, another disrespect you think you can say to a family member. So, of course, I didn't take that. I took that with growing, so I don't believe the FBI will say, you, Mr. Robinson, doing such a great job on your own. We're not coming in. So I would be very interested to know what they did with the second interview or second they claimed with the FBI. Now, what was said, what kind of things was told, or what evidence they are showing? Was it those things, like I said, that I provided to the Buckeye Police Department that I've been hearing so far from these reporters, or is it something else? So I would be very, very interested to know that. So thank you, Sophia, for being here. First of all, I kind of jumped around and went a little farther. So you're right. I do need a prayer. There's a lot on my mind with that. And also, Mary, thank you so much for being here. Well, I see I do have Larnell in the virtual green room. So he will be coming on shortly. But thank you guys. I really appreciate you guys coming in again, being supportive. And again, I apologize for this bad feed for those who just joining in. Yes, it's really bad tonight, but we're going to push through this thing. I do see some questions here, and I will be getting to these questions. But I want to let my brother on first, and we're going to have a little discussion here. I will be talking about the Mellon protest as well as this the Unity Candlelight Vigil. But in light of everything that happened tonight, I wanted to get to this release from the Buckeye Police Department. So without further ado, you guys know him before, Mr. Larnell Farmer. He's, like I said, an 18 member as well as a board member, director for Daniel Robinson Foundation. Very good friend of mine. He wears a lot of other hats. He can tell you about those if you like, but definitely will like have him on right now. So thank you guys and welcome on. Thank you, Larnell, for being here tonight. I really appreciate you being here.
No problem. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
Yes.
Especially in light of everything that just happened within these last couple hours.
Yes. It's really, really tough. I want to say up front, you could probably tell I have a lot of lag and stuff like that. So it might take some time for you to actually hear me or something.
Okay, I'm good.
Okay. Yes, but yes, there's a lot been pushed out at the last minute. The last 30 minutes getting prepped for tonight. 30 minutes to an hour, getting prepped. It came all in a big wave and one of those type things. So I would be interested to look at this report. I'm sure it's the same thing. They added a whole lot of content, I'm sure, and I will be going through that. And I already don't like one thing so far that I've seen, heard. So
yeah.
Did you catch me?
Yeah, it's a little bit of a lag, but I'm good.
Yes. Yes, I apologize for that. Like I said, that's the couple things on there that I definitely want to go through and take a look at it. And kind of just said, I know you will too. That's why I sent you a copy as well. We can look at it and kind of look at some of those things. Please respond to the secret.
Okay, well, let's get to it.
Are you catching me?
Yeah.
Okay, I was saying, yeah, you have anything you like to say about that? Because, yeah, definitely, like I say, want to go through that report.
Okay. Again, my name is Larnell Farmer, and for those who don't know, I'm a retired police officer from just outside of Chicago, the Waukegan Police Department. And I've been in the Valley, in the West Valley, about just over 10 years now. And I'm the first vice president for the local branch of the NAACP, the West Valley NAACP. And then back home, I'm a part of another foundation. I'm the vice president of the Ant Mound Foundation. And then out here, again, I'm part of the African American Advisory Board for Sheriff Pinzone, a board that he created a couple years ago. So another a gentleman that I know had asked me if I was interested in that position, being a part of that board. And I told him yes. So I sent the resume in, and they read over it, and I was accepted for that board also. And so, like you said earlier, the different hats that I'm wearing, here in Arizona, back in Illinois, and I constantly keep in contact with different organizations also, because the thing is that we're all fighting for the same thing. And that's justice within the justice system, if that makes sense. I even feel funny saying that, but then it goes back to how I met you and all of that. And so it all falls in line. So it's this continuous fight that we're doing all the time different issues, but overall within the same realm. So that's pretty much where I am, and that's what keeps me going with all of this stuff. And I know it's getting
That's right.
rougher because next June 23rd will be 2 years since Daniel went missing. And so here we are coming up on that anniversary. And I think, my personal opinion, I believe that's why Buckeye is putting out information now, because we've been on them to do something from day one. And again, as we lead up to this 2-year period, here we are with them putting out information like they've really done something. And we know they have done absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Right. One thing I wanted to point out, I did hear from the reporters, and what was very disappointing is the manner that these things were put in a report. Thank you, Buckeye, for pointing out those things that I accomplished. We accomplished as a team as well. Accomplished finding information that they are able to utilize. However, at the same time, I want to make sure that the public, like I told the media, don't think those things as is Buckeye went and did some work. They did not locate this gentleman who was the second person that claimed to be the second person. You guys, you remember that, Larnell, the second person that claimed to be a person that seen Daniel that day. He described himself as a federal law enforcement officer.
Right.
I dismissed them basically. I'm not trying to judge people by the way they look, but to judge a character. I didn't believe he was a federal law enforcement agent, even though he showed me a badge at the time. He showed my investigator and also my search coordinator at the time. My investigator, he made an error, though I can't say that. He made an error. I had a family press conference. He said he vetted the guy's story. His story checked out. So I put that in the public. This guy was the second person that seen Daniel. However, until I did further investigation, I've been running my own investigation as well. And in my investigation, I had interviewed a guy. We had conversations, and like I said, the information that came from my investigator when he found the first initial accident of that vehicle, from the information from the computer information, that's something that can't be changed. The accident of that vehicle happened around 1 o'clock that day. Once he heard that, he said he seen Daniel around 1 o'clock. Once he heard that, he backed the story up and said, I seen Daniel around 10 o'clock. I don't know if the Buckeye police put the cell phone thing there and then kind of mentioned the guy to try to make it appear, make him a suspect or whatever. To me, it sounds kind of fabricated to me. I hate to say it that way. But the thing is, because this guy changed the story to 10 o'clock, we know the accident that happened at 1 o'clock. You cannot put that phone, for instance, the guy saying Curry, or at the scene when the accident didn't even happen until 1 o'clock. You can't put it at the scene at 10. That happened to. So that's why I say I'm questioning what Buckeye put in the report and the reason they're putting on that report. But to go back to this gentleman, this guy, I dismissed him as being a credible witness because his lies about being a federal law enforcement officer, as well as a content creator who went out and posted this guy's rap sheet all across the internet. Something I haven't done, but it kind of destroyed. I told you how that destroyed my ability to continue to talk with this guy to get more information, because I looked at him as a suspect at the time. And so I went to the Buckeye Department and asked what when they came out to search that by the time when you were out there, Lardell. They said they vetted his story as well. I sent this guy to the Buckeye Police Department. They said they vetted his story, and they say, I believe he's South Carolina. I said, well, what about him lying about being a federal law enforcement? Detective Biffman told me, well, that don't mean nothing. We believe his story. Now, I never believed the guy's story. Matter of fact, about 2 weeks ago, people don't know, about 2.5 weeks or 3 weeks ago, Detective Biffman called me before this report came out, and he asked me, he said, look, what you think about this guy who say he saw your son? I told him what I felt. I said he's a suspect and these are the reasons why. But now, boom, I see this report mentioning his name. So those type things. So I'm saying those efforts and work that I have been doing, the Buckeye Police Department is piggyback riding on it. And one thing that's only different is putting cell phone. Say, hey, they didn't say cell phone. We got to listen to the word. They play these word games, not on pings. They're saying they got data from the phone that says that triangulate and put this that to the Buckeye Department have a problem. So now they have to justify that saying in a report to match the data that came from the vehicle itself, putting the accident there at 1:00 p.m. So I'm glad they did that. They put it publicly, but they had to answer the question to how those two things could be simultaneously right. One is data from the vehicle itself. One, they're claiming come from the cell phone, not cell phone pings, but coming from the cell phone. I don't know what data, but I just know that that phone Google history and all that stuff has been wiped off the phone, it's been deleted. Unless they went to Google itself with a warrant, I can't see them getting information from the phone saying anything. Because I have that phone, and it doesn't have those things he's claiming.
But it's just like you said that you don't believe this gentleman was any type of officer, agent, or whatever the case may be. And for the detective Biffin to tell you that it doesn't matter that he's a liar, but they believe what he says, that says that speaks volume about who they are. And I'm talking about the Buckeye Police Department, who Detective Biffin is, and to just throw out some BS like that, and you, David Robinson, are just supposed to take what Detective Biffin says and just remove all common sense out of this whole equation and just believe what he says. It's disrespectful on every level. And that disrespect started from day one with them not doing what they were supposed to do. And here we are almost 2 years later, and the disrespect continues, and it goes back to us going to those meetings, the city council meetings, and my question to you, has anyone from the city council, the mayor's office, the chief himself contacted you directly? And I know the answer to those questions. And again, it's a total lack of respect for your family and for Daniel and for them to continue to say that they did any type of an investigation. This
One of the things,
it pisses me off.
yeah, one thing I want to mention too, Larnell, in the scheme of things, like I said, one of the biggest part of me, we're coming up to the 2-year mark. Very difficult. Like I said, it was even very difficult to be on live, to know I'm coming up to that time frame, and also trying to do everything I can to keep Daniel's story out there, to keep come up with an idea, the Unity Candlelight Vigil, for instance, to not only highlight and try to bring some awareness to Daniel's case, but also to help other families. Doing all that kind of stuff is very tough, and also trying to investigate, because I have no confidence in the law enforcement agencies who's claiming to have custody of my son's case. I call it holding hostage. But to do what they did before, I got bombarded by these reporters. It's a slap in my face as a human being, as a father, as a man who's been out there, like I said, I'm just dealing with the Buckeye Police Department as well as the city of Buckeye. Slap in my face many times from that direction, to release something to the public without making me aware of it. You get what I'm saying? They couldn't do a simple courtesy call, say, hey, we're making a decision to release the report again. And this is what we are releasing, the added addition to this report. But I'm getting surrounded by reporters, calling my phone, seeing these numbers, calling my phone and then say, hey, look, ask me questions about something I haven't seen yet. Have you seen this? No, Buckeye haven't even contacted me. David Robinson, the father who traveled almost 2,000 miles, who been in the city of Buckeye, who have closed the case. You guys, I'm saying, what I'm saying, Larnell, closed the case for the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office, a missing stolen vehicle recovered in my efforts, as well as bringing human remains, bringing closure to other people's family, putting their citizens of Buckeye in one place, all across Arizona, citizens all across Arizona in one place, searching for my son, all us working together. Resources have been spent, people donating to you name it. And this is the kind of respect, non-respect that I get from the department. That hurts. And one of the reasons why I don't have that confidence, in that department as well. So to me, I think there's a reach, there's a really far reach for the Buckeye Police Department to try to draw straws to find something They could say, "Oh, because they hear me on the Q&A, they watch it, they told me they do. They hear me say they haven't brought us one step closer to any answer. So here it is. We're gonna give them something. We're gonna say the phone was there at 10 o'clock a.m. We give them something to say, back here they are again, focus on pushing my son to be at that crash site. Again, I'm gonna point out to everybody right now, if you guys pay attention, a couple things that the Buckeye Police Department have to accomplish to make that 10 o'clock stick now that they said it to the public. They have to get past the rancher who found the vehicle at the first place, who says out of testimony, the one that found it, I was there in the spot 2 days, 17th of July, the vehicle wasn't here. I came back to check for my cattle in the spot coming down this ravine, the vehicle was there. I reported it. So they had to literally purposely ignore his testimony. The second thing is, you guys, if you really think about it, there was somebody 2 days prior, I'm gonna call him T. His wife took a picture of a vehicle that fits the description of Daniel. Look just like a very blurry. He described the damages to the T, 2 pressures on the windshield, etc. You guys have to ignore that. 2 days prior, the vehicle magically disappeared. Once I told the Buckeye Police Department about it, they still to this day will not tell me who told them away. Bam, 2 days later, Mr. Robinson, your son's vehicle showed up in the desert, right? Basically. The other part is, like I said, the things they had to accomplish is the data that came back from the vehicle itself. The damage didn't match the terrain. They can't go by their own investigator. The investigator have never seen it. You guys never seen Daniel's vehicle, never examined the damages on it. They're going by third-party pictures, which is deceiving. Pictures can be deceiving. You guys know that. It's called depth. It's really hard to accomplish when you're looking at pictures alone. You got to look at the vehicle itself. So it's unreliable. His testimony, their investigator testimony is unreliable. He never seen Daniel's vehicle. Don't get it construed, you guys. Never seen it, never even asked. Never seen it, never examined it, never did anything. But we have physical evidence from my private investigator, who's also asking the reconstructionist, found the damages didn't match that terrain, found the red transfer paint on the vehicle. There's nothing in the desert that's red that that vehicle come in contact with. The other part is, you guys know, the 11 additional miles after the airbags deployed from the first accident. My investigators have evidence for physical that is in multiple accidents. That first initial accident, when the airbags deployed, the vehicle driven for another 11 miles. Also, there was 11 initial cycles. So the Buckeye Police Department wants you guys to believe that vehicle was there for 30 days. Then he crashed it there. It was laying on the side, and he was sitting there in the driver's seat while the vehicle on the side like that and cranking it up 46 times while it's on the side. No human can do that. It's physically impossible. So they want you guys to believe that physical, impossible, all of that, just to make sure this vehicle here. That's why I believe this report is released saying this 10 o'clock thing, so it could throw things off. But I'm saying, guys, you got to go accomplish all of these physical evidence of foul play that was there. The clothing on the ground. We to the date, they can ignore the family. I don't know if that's Daniel Close. My daughter, we can't recognize that Daniel Close. We haven't seen him wear those. We want physical evidence of that. We want forensics testing on those clothes. They even say it's Daniel Close. They say Maricopa County dogs was out there with them. Larnell, you're a police officer. I don't know how those dogs really were. I know how the cadaver dogs, because I had to get them myself for my searches. But the search dog, I was assuming they're like bloodhounds. They had to have something of that person to sniff on first so they can go track and see where this person went, right? The clothes are there. This is what Detective Biff Miller, I had him on recorded call as well. He said, first of all, he didn't see no reason to do forensics at the scene. But the other part he said as well is that they did not track anything. Nobody leaving that. No, Daniel didn't leave the scene. They ain't tracking him leaving the scene. If that was indeed his clothing, those dogs would have tracked which direction he went, because he was never there. So the thing is, I'm saying, you guys, is there's so much that they have to overcome to make this 10 o'clock thing that is not cell phone pings. And I don't want nobody to get confused from what I'm hearing. They're hearing just saying come data from the phone itself. To overcome that, they have to prove those points to me. And I want to see those things. So that's what I'm at right now, Larnell, in this whole thing.
And I agree, because too often people that aren't really in the know, they get their knowledge of police work from TV and movies and everything. And most TV shows, the police shows,
Right.
are they're wrapped up within that hour time frame, unless it goes into the next episode or something like that. But in my professional opinion, what I believe
Right.
Buckeye is doing, Buckeye is in, and they've been this way from day one. They are in that CYA mode, covering their own butts, because they know and especially as it gets further down,
Right.
because now, it's 2 years later and they're creating all this stuff that they said that they've done. This is stuff that should have been done, from day one, week one, month one, not, 24 months later. And so they are acting as if they were working for defense attorneys. That's the way Buckeye, what they're doing now is, like I said earlier, strictly from a defensive standpoint. We need to make sure that we cover ourselves in case of a pending lawsuit, in case that something does happen. We said we did all of this stuff, but we know that there's a big difference with saying something and having factual proof that they did it, and they don't have any factual proof, because we know that they're going off of what you did, what you've been doing for the last couple years, which is, and again, it goes back to professionalism and common sense. And we know that none of that exists within the Buckeye Police Department, because I saw in the chat where somebody said, all you have to do is look at their history, the history of Chief Hall. And I truly believe Chief Hall has something that he's holding over the administration in Buckeye, because the man has gone up and down. They created a position for him, and he came back down from that created position in administration back down to the chief's position. So the guy that was in second in command was a chief. And so what did he do? Put his head down. Okay, welcome back, Larry. Who does that? And the mayor.
Yes,
No,
right.
we as an organization have been sending emails and letters to the administration in Buckeye. And like I said earlier, when we had gone to those council meetings, they give you those little 3 minutes and nobody says anything. They move right on to the next order of business. And again, it's just no compassion, no empathy, no sympathy for you, the family, or the integrity that they're supposed to have within this investigation. It doesn't exist. Not at all. And it's completely disrespectful. Right. And all the stuff that you have spoke about over these almost 2 years, that's more than enough for another agency, preferably a federal agency, to come in and take this investigation and do what they were supposed to do from day one. But we've gotten pushback from them. We've gotten pushback locally, federally, countywide. It's just pushback every time we turn around. And it again, and I know I keep using this word disrespectful. It's completely, I can use other words, but it's horrible. This is horrible. And no family on this earth should be treated that way.
Right.
Nobody.
Right.
And then they care.
Right.
I see on their Facebook page every day the garbage that they're putting out about making it seem like that the Buckeye Police Department is this honorable place and they're doing such a great job. Yeah, they do a great job when a cat needs to be found or a dog is gone astray, and you get a pat on the back for finding some four-legged animal, but you don't do something for a human being.
Right. Yeah, and you're right, Larnell. Yeah, the disrespect, and I think the first disrespect I had is just the coming into the police department. I told him a story. That the business called me up there when I first meeting him, and I made it up to the department, and the guy at the front desk yelled at me, asked me what I want, and the way he said it, and it was really brass with me. Another young lady come from the back doing the same thing, and then they ultimately told me he wasn't there, and I was really confused. I traveled, how far it is from Phoenix to Buckeye. It's like 40-minute ride. And so as I'm at the door, I call him, and here he is coming out the side door. He was there. So that was one of the first things. And as you said, a city council meeting said a lot to me. First thing that families do is reach out to law enforcement. You hear me say this, a lot of people don't get to hear this a lot, but you hear me also with the team say, I would like to say a lot of good thing about law. I want to so bad. I found you see how I do in the background, trying to find reasons to give law enforcement some credit. It's impossible to do that to the Buckeye Police Department because of some of the things that the way they handled Daniel's case, instead of like you said, embracing factual information, they're rebutting against for whatever reason. So, and that's what makes the appearance of a cover up or whatever the case may be because of the way they are doing things. Now, the city of Buckeye, again, like I said, letters to the city manager, reaching out to the mayor, those things come on no response. Go to the city council meeting, like I said, they stand up there like stone figures. No emotional value, no condolences, no sorry, Mr. Robinson, you're going through this. They have that look on their face like get the HELL out of my building here or something. And that's the welcome that you get there, that coldness and that hardness. And to this date, not one time did the mayor of Buckeye, the city managers who knows without being out there, etc., the mayor, vice mayor, the city council member, not one of them out. Just said, I'm sorry you're going through this, Mr. Robinson. We're doing the best we can. Whatever the case, whatever they want to say, nothing, zero, crickets. Show me exactly who they are. Show me exactly who they are. But you see how we went further east, and as we went further east, we got a better reception from the Phoenix Police Department, from the Tempe Police Department, and from Sheriff Zone as well, as to say, hey, something, give you something to say, hey, whether it's true or not, they really feel that way, but at least say, look, I'm sorry you're going through this. We're going to try to help. Whatever the case may be, families need to hear that from law enforcement. They need to hear that from these officials, but you can't get that out of Buckeye.
The thing is, police work is not difficult. And the very first thing with police work is you have to care. And if you don't care, it shows in your work. And you can't pick this case. Okay, I'm going to put my all into this case. Okay, sorry about that. But you can't say that you're going to put I'm going to put my all into this case because I care more about this case than I care about this case. You, as a police officer, you're sworn to a duty. You're sworn to represent that city, the department, this country. And again, you can't, I'm going to take this case over here more seriously than this case because that person looks like me, or I go to church with this person, or, I just don't like the way this person talks to me, and all those biases that come in. And we all have biases. But the one thing that I learned early on, and I grew up running from the police. The last thing I wanted to do was become a police officer. But once I became a police officer and saw what the job really was, I knew that I had to treat people with the bottom line, and that's respect. And that goes a long way. We wouldn't be having half of these discussions if Buckeye would have treated you with some semblance of respect, and they did not do it from day one. But then, you're getting threats early on when this thing first started. I get crazy messages from people calling me all kind of names and everything because I'm speaking out against, and I'll say in this instance, against Buckeye's police department. But why? But you don't want to hear the truth, and deep down in, and I'm talking about all these crazy people with these threats, they know what Buckeye's police department is about, but they don't want to face the truth. And Buckeye is not that little Mayberry, that little hometown, police department anymore, because we know where Daniel went missing. What is it, like 100,000 homes is supposed to be built out there? So Buckeye is becoming a metropolitan city.
Yeah.
And what I'm looking for is for them to step up and say Larry Hall is not the one to run this police department or bring this police department into the future. That little cowboy boot, piece of straw in his mouth attitude that he has, along with his ego and all of that. No. And nobody's afraid of Larry Hall. Well, I know we aren't. As I stated earlier, whatever he has over them, they are afraid of him. That's a personal problem with
Right.
them. Do your job. That's what you're paid to do. Do your job. And they aren't doing it.
And that's a problem. Yeah, and that's going to be a continued problem with my son's case. Like I said, one of the biggest things is not the chief itself. Like I said, those problematic things I'm starting to see in Daniel's case. When I learned, like you said, that he'd been suspended from falsifying documents. That department is known for that. I've seen it firsthand when I see them change a whole paragraph from the original police report. That's why I say I'm glad they sent this report out. I'm going to compare it to their first report and see how much stuff they actually changed. Again, if they do it again. So that's called falsifying reports. I really, when I seen all of that, yeah, my level of really that trust and for my son case to be in that department. For instance, to me, the selling of the story. I mean, you got to put all these things together. You want to start looking things overtly on the outside, the selling of the story. You have a man who not one time showed any concern about my son's case. My son's disappearance. No, Mr. Rouse, I'm sorry you're going through this. Never heard you ever say that to me. I'm sorry you're going through this. We're going to work the best way we can, whatever the case may be. Never said this. Even in the meeting, never said that. Where I found out he didn't do any forensics. One thing he did do is kind of weird to me, and I keep throwing it out there for people to really understand this, and it started tying into so much of everything else. The guy showed up at one search, you guys, out of 40. Think about it, you guys. This is 48, 49 weeks of searches. He showed up to one search, uninvited. Didn't tell me he was showing up anything. So at the time, my search coordinator at the time of my first one, he and the chief say, without putting out so much information, I said a lot of conflict of interest is going on. Now, one of the biggest parts of that is Chief Hall showed up at that search, uninvited. He stepped over me and my daughter like we wasn't even Daniel's family member. He grandstanded. For some reason, he wanted to sell. He was like on a mission. He came out that vehicle, started yelling, "Hey, how you doing, Mr. Ross?" And kind of waved at my daughter and kept moving. Hey, y'all, just yelling out to the crowd. Hey, y'all, what vehicle was found? Daniel's vehicle found. Here it is, my daughter and I look at each other like, how disrespectful is that? Again, the disrespect. Never took us anywhere to show us where Daniel's vehicle was found. We didn't know. I didn't know I was even that close. I was wondering why my then coordinator wanted me to bring the volunteers in that area. He knew before I did because they, like I said, there's conflict of interest stuff going on. And they want us down there and they will show us where this vehicle was, the whole crowd of people that's coming to my searches. Like I said, that was the whole him actually showing up there is to say, show me back a little bit. When they called me and told me over to 4 hours after the vehicle showed up in that ravine, that they found the rancher found the vehicle, they went over 24 hours. And when they called me up there to that department, they didn't even have the courtesy of bringing me in the building to sit me down in the cool shade. You know how the summer heat is in Arizona. Didn't bring me inside the building, sit me inside the office or anything. He made me in the parking lot, put the folder he had on his the hood of his truck, and had me standing in the parking lot to tell me about what they found, and showed me the two maps in the picture. Now, when Chief Hall showed up that Saturday after that meeting we had learned there with them, like I say, he got out there grandstanding, telling people, and having us follow him, man. I'm saying, I've used that analogy like Moses, like he was leading the people to the promised land. We walk across that hill up the area up there. We made it to this area. He pointed down his ravine and say, yeah, your son's vehicle was found down there. Kind of heartless, you know. I'm looking down there and it didn't match what I saw in that one picture they gave me, but he's here and it was something that other and it was there. So, okay, great. So then he started going off with the crowd and started giving an assumption or insinuation, the way I take it, that the cartels had done something to Daniel. Yeah, the cartels was bad out here. They'll land their planes on Sun Valley Parkway at night, dropping their drugs. They land their planes and take back off and go back to Mexico or something out of it. And so just hearing that from a chief police, I'm kind of puzzling in my mind, why would a chief of police be telling us that kind of stuff? But in the meantime, my daughter tapped me on the shoulder, and that's when I found the rancher who actually was there as well, came out that one time to show me exactly where the vehicle was. But the point I'm making, you guys, is that Chief Hall came to one search uninvited. He pointed out and told me the story that the vehicle was there, that ravine, and then he left, never to ever be seen again. It was one time he was selling the story. Hey, look, the vehicle's here, and blah, 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 so. And then when the rancher corrected him, he turned red in the face, got quiet, took off, never ever to be seen again. And so I wonder about that. It always sticks in my head. So I watch details of people. I watch their body language. I watch certain things. I've been trained to do things like that in the military, watching hands and things like that. So some of those things about that encounter stood out to me with Chief Hall. So there's a lot of questions I have with that department on the stance they have on forcibly trying to make Daniel's vehicle be placed in that ravine and ignoring hard facts about hard physical evidence, as well as throwing in the cookie of the young lady situation, because they also asked me that today, one of the reporters, about the young lady that they still to this day hiding the second person. They put that one in the report, but they're still to this day hiding who the identity of the second party that my son spent the night with two women in their apartment, their home. So, and also the camera footage. There was camera footage, put my son there. I would like to see her camera footage that she claimed to see him picking up something from her apartment. So there's a lot of things you can ask in this case that haven't been explored.
And I agree wholeheartedly. I'm looking at some of the things people were putting in the chat, and it's one
comment,
thing,
right?
Yeah, the comments. I'm
Yes.
sorry. One thing I'd love to see is we need to put more pressure on Buckeye from the top down. And, I'm constantly on their Facebook page and leaving messages. And I think we need to keep the pressure on, because we know, well, I know personally, my feeling is what they're doing is stretching this thing out. And the longer it gets stretched out, the longer it is, the more difficult it is to find the true answers. And as they continue to muddy the waters, and that's exactly what Buckeye is doing. We had a clean glass from day one, and what they did, they took that clean glass of water and they kept putting dirt in it, keep putting dirt in it. And they're trying to tell us that they never put dirt in that glass. It's still drinkable. And we know nobody's foolish. We know better than that. And that's the analogy I like to use with this thing. And so, again, we need to keep the pressure on the mayor, email him, call his office,
right,
on the city council members, on the police administration, all of them. We need to keep the pressure on it and not let this thing just go by the wayside, because, and also, I can guarantee you, this isn't the first time Buckeye's done something like this. If there's a case that they don't want to work, that they may have some involvement in, or something like that, this isn't the first time that they've gone this crooked route, so to speak, to get around doing what they're actually supposed to do. So if you start with a lie, you got to continue that lie. And you got to continue and continue and continue. Even when the truth comes out, you still are lying. And too often within this police system, that's the system. It's never right to come out and tell the complete truth. And Buckeye is involved in this, in the West Valley. They created a task force where, let's say if something happens in Avondale, let's say a police involved in shooting, rather. So Avondale will not be investigating their own shooting. So let's say they give it over to Buckeye to investigate. Who trusts Buckeye to do an investigation? I know I certainly don't. And so anything that Buckeye is involved in is dirty. Anything. So if they do an investigation on another department's incident and they come to this conclusion, nothing Buckeye touches should be given. Anything that they do should be investigated. And I mean, from a traffic ticket up to the latest homicide, anything that their hands are on that they're tied to, there should be an investigation of their investigation, because it's essentially,
That's right.
in my opinion, Chief Hall is running a criminal organization. You know, because as they say, the fish rots from the head down. So what is it?
That's right.
I want to say I don't get it, I don't understand it, but I understand it completely. I understand it completely. And again, the problem is this system, because you know, like when we went down to talk to the FBI that time, how that guy treated us, you know, because Chief Hall said so that we're supposed to believe that Chief Hall's word means anything. You know, he was more disrespectful to us, and he wouldn't listen to anything we said because we don't know how police work. Remember, he said that, you know, it's not like on TV. Yeah, I know that. You know, I know how an investigation goes, but it's just that level of, as we've said before, the blue backing the blue. Even when the truth is slapping them in the face, they're still going to back the blue, and that's what's wrong. That is what's wrong.
Yeah, and it don't just hurt, you know, hurting my family, it's also hurting other families as well. Like you say, that blue back in the blue. The glorified agent that you and I met in at the Phoenix field office for the FBI, that clown didn't even allow us into the building. You know, those two armed escorts, I felt threatened by them. You know, saying, hey, I'm coming here to talk to you about my son's case. And I felt like I was about to end up in jail or something, you know, or shot. That's what I felt at the time. The way he came off yelling at us. I mean, it was very disrespectful coming from the FBI. So it's a lot of disrespect that happens in this case that we have to deal with. And it's sad, yes.
And then it reminded me of that first meeting we had with Chief Hall. And remember, we went in there and they were more concerned about who I was than telling you the truth or anything. And then I knew it was going to be like that. So if I hadn't gone with you, you would have been in there with the 6 of them, and it would have been 6 people telling you all this garbage. And I'm sitting there listening from day one. I'm like, this is a bunch of BS, what they're saying. You know, all of that crap. So they started off with the mindset of, we're not going to do an investigation, and we're definitely not going to tell the truth. And so to me, that tells me that they are involved in something to do with Daniel's disappearance. That's what all the way they're treating this. That's what it is telling me. And I'm looking at this from a professional standpoint. What I know as a police officer, as a former detective, what I've been involved in cases like this, when people go missing, and the steps that you do, and they've done none of that. None of that.
Yeah, like you said, just those things. Again, what I heard today, and it was really upsetted me, and not when I say upset, it disturbed me is the word I would like to use. To hear this 10 o'clock, I think that stood out the most. The other parts, Buckeye is being Buckeye, trying to take credit for things that I have given to them. But the evidence tampering to me, physical evidence, finding ways to try to dismiss hard physical evidence that cannot be changed. You cannot change computer data from the vehicle itself, infotainment system that gave an exact time stamp of when this accident occurred. And you try to, I call it whitewash or something, and make this evidence and say, hey, I went through the cell phone. Not opinions, you guys. I'm telling you, Buckeye's really clever with trick word games they like to play. It's not cell phone pings. It didn't come from the phone company to say, hey, this phone's located here from the towels and this and that, blah, blah, blah. It was, from what I'm hearing, I'm having to go look to make sure, you guys, but what I'm hearing from the reporters, from different reporters, they all saying that they're saying this is data coming directly from the phone device itself. I have the copy. They only took a clone copy of that device. I have the device, and I can tell you guys, I had that phone looked at before Tempe got their hands on it as well. There's not such data. That's why I told the reporters that I found was found. So where they pulled this out of a magical hat, as well as this claiming this text messages deleted text that they retrieved from the trash phone that matched the young lady's text messages. They have not put her text message report, but you notice them guys, they put that Daniel's text message phone, because it don't exist, you guys. They just saying things. And the other part to go with that, as you guys know, with cell phones, data is deleted after 30 days permanently. There's no retrieving those. Look it up for Samsung. There's no retrieving deleted messages out of the trash can after 30 days. That happened well after 30 days that he met this young lady with those text messages. So I'm saying, guys, it don't exist. These are things that they are making up. So the point is, I'm saying, just hearing them saying about this 10 o'clock thing, you guys have from day one, they have been overlooking and ignoring, because I see detectives. I'm not a detective, but I imagine just doing detective work in my own. The first thing I would have did is the person who found the vehicle. I would have did get information from them. I did a report on them, what they said, what time it said, was fresh, what they found. When that rancher said it wasn't there 2 to 3 days, why? Because I was here, and this is the reason why. Verify his story, see if it's true. They didn't do none of that. They cherry pick what they wanted. They say, hey, he found it, because we want to make sure somebody found this vehicle. If they found it, but we're not going to report to the public his testimony that it wasn't there 2 days before that, because I was there. Also, they're ignoring the physical evidence of the infotainment system. I have the report myself, 800-page report. That's 900-page report that give you the timestamp of where that vehicle was first crashed, you guys. So I'm saying, you guys, you cannot put that phone at that 10 o'clock in the morning, but at the same time say the accident happened at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Those two things, that's like apples and oranges. Something is fabricated, and the only thing that can be fabricated is not the hard physical evidence of the vehicle itself. I think the story without evidence that I'm going to see the match what they're saying outside of cell phone of that. I'd like to see how they would overcome that.
Well, the thing is, as I said earlier, once they start a lie, they got to continue with the lie, because unfortunately, there's too many instances within policing where even when they're caught in a lie, they still won't tell the truth. So they got to continue with this lie, and we know they're lying. Everyone that tunes in, to you every week, all the people that subscribe to your channel, if they've really been following this, they know what Buckeye is all about. And again, it's from Chief Hall, and it's about just lying. And they're not good at it. That's the problem. They're not good at it because they've created so many holes in this thing. And you have reports, you have recordings, all of that stuff that clearly contradicts what they're putting out, like in this report today, what they're putting out. And I'm saying this based on, I haven't really read through the report. I will do that later on tonight. But and again, what drives me with this whole thing is I don't know how you feel. And I hope and pray that I never have to know how you feel. But the thing is, I know how you feel, if that makes sense. Because, we've talked long enough and we've been around one another long enough, including the other ladies that's on the foundation and all of that. So we've built a rapport. And I know I would go to war with you, for you, and with everybody else that's within our foundation, because my circle is tight. I have my family, a few friends, and I know who I can count on and who I can't count on. And I consistently tell people that I know you and your family haven't had a chance to even grieve, because we still don't know what happened to Daniel. And for a police department to treat somebody, you, an Army veteran that served this country, for them to treat you like that, what would they do to anybody else? And supposedly, this system, the police, all of this, and I say this system, which is under the umbrella of the United States, cares about their veterans. But here we are with this police department treating you, who've served your country, and they treat you like that. What are they going to do for the average person that's not a veteran, that doesn't have the tenacity that you have, and other people that have come to you? You know, this thing is bigger than Daniel right now, because we're attracting more and more people with these stories. And unfortunately, there's going to be more and more people that come with these same stories. But what happens? Nothing, because the police won't do what they're supposed to do, won't do what they're paid to do. And it's just like a circular motion that we're going through. And it's a shame. It's shameful what they're doing. Larry Hall should not be able to sleep restfully for the rest of his life. He should not have a good night's sleep. And I'm going from the standpoint of being bombarded with emails, phone calls. You know, he rides down the street, he sees one of us. He should not be able to rest comfortably at all until he comes out and tells the exact truth. And the chances of that happening, shoot, yeah, that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. Yes, I agree with Barry right now. I just want to put that up real quick. I'm gonna back that up. Sheriff Zone, my son went missing in Maricopa County, and also to back up what you were saying, Larnell. We don't usually wave a flag and say, "Hey, I'm a veteran. Hey, you owe me something," because we don't feel that way. We veterans, I know the country, say they respect veterans and things like that. But veterans, we know we signed up for. Some people may look at my personal Facebook page, for instance, and I say those who serve for their reasons. A lot of times people think a lot of veterans serve because they're very patriotic, for instance, right? A lot of times they have their reasonings, other reasons as well. It could be definitely just for their family. Hey, look, I'm gonna fight for my family's freedom, but whatever the case may be for this country. But they all have their reasonings. I hear them all a lot of times. But what I'm saying is, veterans don't necessarily say, "Hey, look, waving a flag and say, you guys owe us something," and that type deal. But at the same time, with the same breath, you're right. We have put our life at risk. I received a brain injury fighting for this country. I lost friends fighting for this country. Friends of mine whose life is the same. Those kind of things. So the things you have to deal with, the aftermath of serving the country. So of course, with the country saying that they're looking out for veterans, we see veterans on the street homeless. It's counter to what they say. Do not for veterans. But like you said, one of the things I was thinking of, look, I am a veteran, and my mission is to Daniel. Like you said, I could not even to this day get opportunity to grieve. My head feel like it would explode sometimes because I have so much stress a lot of times. But try to make sure I'm there. Like I say, not putting the mission first. That the mission, your emotional side to try to get things done, and that's what I've been doing since day one. But it's saying it's not always good, you guys. But I'm saying that's the kind of thing that keeps me motivated and keeps me going. But I definitely would think that law enforcement would look at it, because a lot of them are veterans, would look at it the same way and say, look, you know what? That's a brother at arms. We're going to jump in and we're going to do everything we can to help my brother. You know what I'm saying? And that blue part or whatever you want to call it, we used to call ourselves green in the Army. We all green. We all one color. We green. But so I understand that brotherhood, the family, because they're all my military family. At the same time, same breath, you have a job to do. We had to go by, for instance, rules of engagement when in Afghanistan. We have a person carrying an RPG on their shoulder. You can't just shoot them down. We got to wait till he threaten us with it and shoot at us first, or they shoot a gun. We have rules of engagement. We don't just go around shooting people down, for instance. We leave that far. We know we may not come back. We're not so afraid that we just start shooting people up. We don't do that. So we have tact about what we do. There are rules. We are trained. And as well as law enforcement, they have to do their jobs exactly how you're trained. If you're trained now, I say if they go to police academy and the academy say just shoot people down as soon as they flinch or something, I don't know. I haven't been in academy, but I don't think that's the way it goes. But do their job. Treat my son. My only thing right now is to treat my son. Just pretend he's one of your blues. That's Chief Hall's son. Land vehicle showed up in the ravine. That's Chief Hall's one of his officers, cruiser, lying on the side of the ravine. You guys know on God's green earth, first of all, it would have been on 30 days. But let's say it was 30 days, that vehicle showed up 30 days later. Police cruisers land on the ground. I'll keep saying it all over again. You guys know heaven and hell will break loose. I mean, all the law enforcement agents from all across the country be raining down on Buckeye to find one off. And wouldn't be called a missing person case either. Call it a criminal case. With everything exactly the way it is with my son, it'd be called a criminal case. Yeah, being involved, etc. No questions asked. They would pull strings. It would be no, this is my jurisdiction stuff that that may be coming out of Maricopa County or Tempe or whoever. Say, oh, this restriction about this jurisdiction thing. None of that stuff would exist, you guys, if it was a law enforcement officer. What I'm asking for simply, because my son is my first priority. I'm asking it for every other family as well. But my first priority is my son. I'm asking them to treat my son's case as if it was on foot officers' vehicles found out there. He's missing. Treated the same as that way. My son, they are no better than my son. My son no better than them. Treat him the same way, and that's all I'm asking for. But what Barry was saying real quick, Lonnie, I'll let you get in before I forget. What she put here is true. You know what I'm saying? One thing is my son was missing in Maricopa County. He has jurisdictional responsibility. He should say something publicly towards Daniel. Here it is, almost 2 years, and he have not one. He's a political figure at that. And not one time did he say anything to the news media, local news media, or whatever about my son case. This is a major case, whether they like it or not. There's something that went nationally. I worked hard for it. My son case went nationally. They should treat it that way as well. So Sheriff Zone should have some words about my son case. So I am calling him out for that too as well, to say something publicly about Daniel. I would like to see that.
And I agree with you because the different organizations and the different contacts I've had, that's why I was asking the other day from the board for the copy of the FOIA request, the records request from Buckeye. And I think I'd asked you for a copy of something also. And what I did, I sent that out to some other people because the more we talk about this, the more traction we can gain. And we never know who's out there listening that can actually come aboard and really get involved and help us along the way. Just like everybody in the comments section, you know, everybody that subscribes to your channel, there's somebody out there with a talent that we can definitely use. And it can be the simplest thing from sending out an email, making a phone call to, you know, just keep Daniel's name out there. So again, so this thing just doesn't fall by the wayside. And as I stated earlier, policing isn't difficult. You know, when I was working as a police officer, every case was important to me. I don't care if it was a stolen bike or a homicide that I was working on. I always showed that person, the victims, even the offenders, you show them a level of respect. You know, you get more when you show people respect. You know, if somebody punches me in the face, you know, we're going to fight. But once you're in handcuffs, the fight is over. You know, if I find out that a victim lied to me about something, you know, I'll get upset. But, you know, explain to me why you felt you had to lie to me as a police officer. You know, I'm going to be truthful rather with you, and I expect you to be truthful with me. And it just comes with when you're sworn in, just like you in the military, you take that oath to protect and serve and protect, whether it's your community, your family, this country, whatever. And you abide by that oath that you take. And far too often, that oath is not taken seriously because, you know, it becomes a thing where all I want to do is get in my squad car, you know, come sit behind my desk and turn corners and make six figures and go home to my family, get me a beer, sit back in my recliner, watch my favorite TV show, and go in the next day and stretch that out for 20 years until I can get out of this profession. And then when you ask, what did you do for people in that professional, as a professional, in that role that you had as a police officer? Tell me something. Tell me what impact did you make? You know, and again, it's not for everybody. Policing is not for everybody. Everybody can't do it, and everybody shouldn't be doing it for a myriad of different reasons. You know, you don't have the right mentality. You don't have the right this, that, and all of that. And so it needs to be a better vetting process also when it comes to, you know, hiring police officers. And again, I go back to, if Buckeye was legitimate in what they were doing, what they have been doing, what they've done way back in the past before this, we wouldn't be having this conversation tonight. And again, it's shameful.
That's right.
It's shameful. And the truth is going to come out eventually.
That's right.
There's no doubt in my mind that the truth is going to come out, be it tomorrow or 10 years down the line. The truth is going to come out.
It will, because I'm going to keep pushing for the truth. You know, one thing the word says, you know the truth, and the truth will make you free. And the truth is going to come out. What's done in the dark will come out into the light. I believe in those things. Those are energies. Some people, I want to go into some spiritual thing, but I'm telling you guys, for every action, there's a reaction, and there's some things, negative and positive. So whatever's happening with this department, those things, like you said, will blow up in their face. You only can build a lie for so long, and like I said, it will blow up in your face. Like I said, this is the beginning of the end. What I'm saying is the beginning of the end, because once I read this report, I'm going through it with a fine-tooth comb, you guys. I'm basing it on the first report that the Buckeye Police Department gave me. I'm basing it on the information that I gave the Buckeye Police, the hard physical evidence. I think one of the biggest downset to the Buckeye Police Department, when they give me that bogus story, Daniel joined a monastery, become a monk. Maybe he joined a monastery, become a monk, or he had some brain injury that caused him to shred his clothes. I had a brain injury. I never shredded my clothes. They thought I was they gave me everything for safekeeping. If you think about it, guys, I'm telling you, look, the thing about this, guys, they knew they was wrong. They went out in public on their social media site that you go on there as well, on their Facebook, said, hey, look, we have no more leads to follow in this case. They was done. They gave me everything. They gave me everything from the vehicle, as well as the all the forensics things that I have to this date. They thought I was probably going to move on. Hey, this guy's going to go back to South Carolina. We told him, hey, this all we can do. Your son is missing. We'll let you know something else come up, basically, and I was going to move on. But no, I'm not that kind of father. I told you guys, I'm definitely going to keep on fighting as much as I can. I'm tired, you guys. I'm tired. I'm mentally tired, physically tired, all of that stuff. I'm human. But you know what? That's my son. I'm going to, until I see from law enforcement that same energy I know that they can do, that same investigation I know they can do if it's one of their own, until I see that from law enforcement, until I get my son's case moved over to the Maricopa County or to a jurisdiction I know would do the right thing, I'm going to keep fighting. I'm going to keep fighting. I'm not going nowhere. They're going to be a thorn in their flesh. I always say there's no threat, you guys. It's only come up for election, it's going to happen to come again. Re-election or whatever the case may be, I know sheriffs get elected in their position. I will be there on those days. I promise that. I will be there on those dates, doing what I have to do to get people behind me, mobilize people in Arizona, in Phoenix, to back me on a sheriff that know they can do. I mean, I don't care about the political part of it. My son is missing, and can know they can do something, have that jurisdictional power. I want it done. That is the bottom line, you guys. I will do everything in my power as a civilian, as a citizen, to make sure that my son, his case, get treated the proper way that it should.
And I agree with you. Again, is what you're saying is, your job as a father is to do what you're doing. And I also believe what Buckeye Police Department has been doing from day one is calculated. And there's a purpose behind what they're doing, to mislead and to again, and I think I saw in the chat earlier, one of the comments, this needs to be a criminal investigation. And they haven't done that. We know they haven't done that. And to me, I don't understand. Well, again, I understand why they won't, but it's again, you keep telling that lie, and you got to keep telling that lie. And Buckeye is putting themselves in a position where, the house of cards is going to come crumbling down. And I want to be there when it happens. I want to be there. What I'd love to see is Larry Hall marched out of the Buckeye Police Department in handcuffs. That would make my day.
I didn't mean to laugh for that.
Oh, it's
I didn't mean to laugh for that, but the reason why I laughed, because when I first met you, I remember. Yeah, that's right.
I think I told you.
Yeah,
I had an argument with him. This was maybe about 3 years ago about another issue that I was looking into.
Right.
And the man yelled at me like I was like I was a
Right.
2-year-old
Yes.
child.
Yes.
And I'm like, what's wrong with this guy? Never met me, just screaming at me on the phone. I'm like, I don't work for you. And if I did, I'm not going to allow you to scream at me. And that's why I told you when I went to that meeting with you, he and I had words before, but he didn't remember me because we had never
Yeah.
met. But then
Yeah.
once he found out
Oh, he
who I
said
was,
something to me about it.
correct, correct.
Yeah.
I became the
Yeah.
focus of everything and
Yeah.
not what he was taught. And see, that says a whole lot right there. You should be focusing on Daniel, not on me. Because whatever issues you and I have,
Right.
me and Chief Hall,
Right.
that's between us. I can move that aside because the main issue right now, that's
That's
some
right.
petty stuff. The main issue right now is what happened to Daniel. And so you're going to bombard David Robinson with all these detectives, these sergeants, and all these people in the room to make it look like, yep, we're really doing something. You didn't do anything, and it continues to this
That's
day.
right.
And Chief Larry Hall, you know that. The mayor, Osborne, or whatever his name is, you know that. And again, just do your job. That's all anybody asks.
Yes.
Anybody.
Yes. I will throw in some too. Lionel, I know that I'm reading in the chat as well. It seems like everybody's advocating for what I like to say is a letter writing campaign. We can keep that going along with mail-in protests, but a letter writing campaign to these mayors and to the city managers and to et cetera. So yeah, I need to put some of those things together. Barry, I think you're also talking in the chats with about that. So once we get off, Larnell, I want Barry to remind me, and so we'll see if I can put something together where we have this letter writing, thing as well. So I put the PDFs there, but maybe we can have put the addresses there and people to write their own letters and their own words and what they want to say to these mayors and the city council members. And I will get the information and put it out there for you guys to follow up on and write it. I know Aaron Chase is one. She's been doing a lot, you guys, when it comes to calling and writing. So of course, I know you're Aaron Chase. I know you're there in the chats, and you have been doing a lot that already. So I really appreciate you for doing that in advance already. So thank you so much. Go ahead,
Well,
Larnell.
hopefully with the 23rd, quickly approaching and the media contacting you about what happened today, and again, along with the 23rd coming up, hopefully the media increases their coverage of this, and it makes a good story. The 2-year, anniversary of Daniel's disappearance, it makes that human, piece that gets more media attention.
That's right.
So that's what I'm
That's
hoping
right.
for. I'm hoping for to get that reassert that
That's right.
energy back into this thing.
That's right. And that's what I'm telling the dear reporters at the end of one of my interviews today. I said, look, for families, that's crucial. Media is crucial. So this whole unity Candlelight vigil, the unity Candlelight vigil is very important for Daniel case as well, because, like you said, that brings new, hopefully, his case. So I want to put that up on the screen real quick, but you guys. This Unity Candlelit visual, like I said, you guys don't forget that on the 23rd. I will be adding more information about it coming up in this lives throughout the week. We have a couple weeks before that happen, but I will be putting a lot of lives I've been doing here on the YouTube channel as well. So you can check the social media. I'll put more details because I'm adding some little things, you guys. I want other families to be a part of this. We did it before, as you know, Larnell, the team. You guys and myself put these events together. Day of Remembrance, the Candlelit Visual. You guys had got other families there to be a part of these events. So we'll be doing some of the same thing again, you guys. But this will be done. It won't be in a place. That's why I have it remote, you guys. Remote things because it's be very difficult to try to be there remote in person in Phoenix. And I have my family to deal with this. This is a hard time for my family, you guys. And so I want to make sure that everybody can participate. So I will be doing some lives on that day, but I want to make sure that everybody, no matter where you're at, you got some people in the Netherlands to South Africa, to Australia, to, you name it, England, they're coming out here to support all of you guys can join in on this Candlelit Vigil. And like I said, it's not just for Daniel. Daniel's just America's son. He's just a type of shadow of things that happen to other families. It's just that you guys can support these other families that will be on here as well, that will be supported with this Unity Candlelight Vigil. So you guys know in the family who have a missing loved one, please have them contact me. Please help find Daniel at yahoo.com. And I would like to add their names along with this Unity Candlelight Vigil. So definitely want to include other families to make them their story, bring their attention to their stories as well. Because everybody's attention, I'm telling you, is hard. You saw Miss Nunez, Jessica, Alicia Navarro, and about how hard it is for her to keep her daughter's story out. It's been almost 4 years and daughter been missing. It's hard to keep that story going. So it's important to you guys, if you can, continue to support any way you can, sharing these stories, not just my family, but every family you can see. Share their story on your social media. So thank you, Lionel. I want to throw that out real quick before we get off. So yes.
No, it's very important. It's very important. Actually, I can't think of anything that we do, as I stated earlier, from just a phone call to letters to anything that's not important, that isn't going to help, move this investigation in the proper direction and get it into the proper hands. And as we've been told before, we need Buckeye's permission to release this. No, you don't. That you do not need Buckeye's their permission or them to release this case. And I always say, you're asking them to release something that they didn't do in the first place. So any agency can come in and start from day one and do more within an hour than Buckeye's done in 2 years. So this releasing that we need from Buckeye, we do not need that. That's especially if a federal agency, the state or the county comes in, they do not need Buckeye's permission.
DPS.
Anything.
Right. Yeah.
We gotta meet up with them with DPS.
That's right.
That's another thing that we have to do. And
that's right. We got DPS coming up. Right.
Yep. So it's still things that we can do. But again, we need help. We need help from the right people. And I mean the right people from a police standpoint, not from anybody that's helping us already, from the police standpoint, to actually get up off their butts and say that enough is enough. And the sad part is, if we got police chiefs in this valley, if we can get them one-on-one and talk to them, I can almost guarantee you the majority of them do not like Chief Hall and they do not like the way that he polices. But it goes back to, well, I can't say anything bad about another person that's in a blue uniform. The heck with that crap. Start telling the truth. If you don't, I work with many people that I don't like, and I treat them as a professional, but we're not going to home to sleep together. They're not coming to my house to break bread. I'm not going out with them for anything. So do your job. You can do it in a professional manner. And again, I work with many people that I want to just slap the taste out their mouth, but we're working for a common cause, and that common cause is the truth. So I don't want to hear that crap anymore.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. It's that's one of those things. We can get law enforcement to, like you said, do those. There's just a simple job. I kind of look at a department like Buckeye. First of all, like I say again, I'm saying it this way. I wish this for every family. What I'm talking about, because I really know what families are going through when they have missing loved one. But again, I still have that thing where I have to look out for my son. He's my son. I'm his father, and I'm fighting for my son in this way. And I'm hoping that other fathers will do the same for their children or their family member that's missing. I'm saying is I would like to see law enforcement treat my son's case exactly like how they would treat their own. At the same time, looking at departments like Buckeye that don't have those kind of resources at the Maricopa County, I want my son's case in better hands. Like you were saying this a while ago, a fresh set of eyes can do something great. I was saying this morning, for instance, a lot of these cases become cold because the public lose interest and then the family slows down. And that's easy for law enforcement to say, well, we can put this in the back corner. And the way I described this morning, Lord, was that the way I vision it in my head is law enforcement put in this big brown box, this case file, and they put it in this closet way back in the back, and they get cobweb on it because the detective, he been working other cases and moved on to something else in life, and he retired almost 20 years later, and he moved out of the apartment. Some new, fresh detective come in there and say, you know what, I'm gonna crack one of these old cases, and then they go and pull that thing out of there, and they go through it, and bam, they crack the case. Not meaning that it couldn't have been cracked when that first officer put in there. They just didn't do the work. They stopped, but this new one came in, did the work they should have did 20 years ago, and now they cracked the case. That don't mean some new evidence came. No, the evidence is already there. They took somebody to actually want to do the work, and I'm not seeing anything coming out of Buckeye Police Department. That's unfortunate because I definitely need my son's case handled right. I'm his father. I'm not the father of everybody. I'm the father of Daniel Robinson. And in my son's case, I want it in a different department where it can be handled. You know what I'm saying? Just like you take your car. You want to take some want to take their car to lube, and some want to take it to the dealership. Me personally, I'm a dealership guy because I want to make sure the vehicle is being handled properly. You know what I'm saying? It's been everything is being taken care of so it can last me a lot longer. Not knocking off Jiffy Lube, but they got limited resource. They're gonna get you in there in 15 minutes, get you in and out in 15 minutes. I don't know how they do it, but they're not gonna go through everything. The dealership will go through everything to find out what's going on with your car, and they're gonna find those things out, whether you like it or not. They're gonna point out some things that you might not like about your vehicle. But the point is, you want a thorough look at your vehicle. I don't want a Jiffy Lube look that Buckeye's given to my son's case. So that's the way I look at it. And it's my responsibility as a father to make sure that happens. And that's why I'm pushing so hard to go get my son's case moved somewhere else.
I like that analogy. So in the world of policing, Buckeye is Jiffy Lube. I like that.
That's right.
I like that. I like that.
Yes. 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 So, again, Lionel, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate you coming on. As always, man, I say this a lot because it's true. From day one, you're the realest brother I know. I'm telling you. And the reason why I say that, you're a man of your word. You care about people. I know personally, the team and I, we know how passionate you are, not just for you're passionate for what you believe in, but you're passionate for people, man. And you always show that, and you're willing to go out of the way just to help the average Joe. You know what I'm saying? I hate to say it that way, but the average person. And you're really willing to help people. And you helped me when I first came to Arizona. It only took one time of meeting you, and you've been there ever since. It's kind of ironic how Shawna brought the A-team to my attention. You just happen to be one of those people she brought. And I said, I already know Lauren. But the thing is, it was a small world. But the thing is, I'm saying, you've always been the same person from day one. You didn't change or do anything. You're really taking your police experience, your things that your knowledge from everything. I mean, man, you should be for office, but that's my opinion. But the thing is, you take everything that you accomplished and done in your life. You wear a lot of hats, and you've been helping people ever since, man. I really appreciate it. I admire that from you. So thank you so much, man, for even being here tonight when you knew what I was going through with all that stuff being bombarded to me at the same time. So thanks for coming in on here to, I look at it as a rescue.
Look, it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure because again, I knew what tonight would be like, and hopefully I could take a little bit away from that, that pressure on you. So that was one reason I wanted to come in tonight and just kind of help you through, whatever way I could. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing. And, hopefully, again, we can jumpstart this thing again and keep it revved up, have all cylinders going forward, and use everything negative, use it as a positive, and continue to move. Continue to move. And I see somebody put in PM channel.
That's right.
Did they post law enforcement Twitter account?
That's right. Every week. That's right.
And that's what I mean. If we all did that,
that's why I just saw that too. Yeah.
Continue to do it. So
just keep on loading them up. Everywhere they turn, they see this, right. And that's what the goal is, right?
Yep, exactly. I agree.
I do have some questions real quick here. Did you see new information released today by the Buckeye Police Department? That's what we were talking about earlier. AZ native. Yeah, I did see those information, and that's what Larnell and I was talking about. I did see the report. The report was passed on to me, so I'm really grateful for that. Once I get off this live, I will be combing it. Larnell will be doing the same thing. But the excerpt of what's been told to me by the local news channels is very disturbing, to the point where, of course, they released this. They built up on this report and then reintroduced it to the public again. There was nothing that I saw, I heard so far from the reporters, other than they're taking credit for what they gave them. That's one thing I would deal with later. The big disturbing part for me is the 10 o'clock non-cell phone ping that they are utilizing as word games to me, to say, hey, look, we look into the device. How did you look into the device? You look into the device. I have the device, you guys, and I looked into myself, and also had a friend that looked at. They claiming information that somehow from the device itself. Also, the fact that you guys, Larnell, you're part of the meeting as well with Tempe Police Department, where we were able to get them to agree with the mayor as well, Tempe, to agree do the forensics on Brown. It wasn't Buckeye that requested. It wasn't Buckeye who got Tempe to do that. It was our efforts getting the Buckeye Tempe Police Department to do those forensics for me, as Tempe would like to say, as a favor to me. And they kept stressing it to me. They were doing this to me as a favor, for me as a favor. At the same time, they were saying that they have to also give it the information over to the Buckeye Police Department. But now they're calling it assist. So type thing. So I'm saying is again, it's like you're saying, Lana, it's the blue. Going to always try to look out for the blue in those aspects. But that's what I want to make sure the reporters understand. These things are put out there in that report, put out in the public. Buckeye put it as if they came. Oh man, we came up with this. We did this work. We got this forensics done, and we did just like the Maricopa County stuff. Who had the protest, and they called me asking me to hold out on the protest. While they do two things, they did one out of two, and that was that search. You remember that all in all that as well. They did the search, but the Buckeye Police Department came out quickly and said, we did the search for it. And I'm like, man, that was a Maricopa County. We were there. That was a Maricopa County exercise. But again, that's Buckeye. Again, the law enforcement looking out for the blue. And that, to me, that's what I'm saying. When they keep doing that, law enforcement, whether it's Maricopa County, whether it's Tempe, whether it's Buckeye, when they do this big thing collectively, the only thing as a family like I see is they give a damn about the blue more than they care about my son's life. The more than they care about him being found. We're gonna make sure it stay intact. We're gonna make sure it looks good, whether they're crooked or not. We're gonna stand by and try to make sure we can help them cover up whatever. Help them, like you say, cover their ass. You know what I'm saying? I would say it because we said a lot in the military. One of my military brothers would tell you that was one of our biggest phrases, especially with S1. But anyway, the thing is, they would try to cover themselves.
Well, I agree wholeheartedly. But like I said, hopefully we can
That's
get
right.
some more momentum and move forward and keep this thing going. Because
we will.
Yeah, that's my prayer. I don't want to be here next year. I don't want to be here next year. In 2024, sitting here having the same discussion and no traction. I'm not saying I won't be. I don't want to be. And what I'm asking or hoping and praying for is we come to a resolution and actually find out what happened to Daniel. And another thing I want to stress also, we got to. These are elected officials. These people in Buckeye, the mayor, those council members, for those that live in Buckeye, they are elected officials. Remember this at election time. They work for us. We don't work for them.
And that's why I'm telling you, I would be there. That's right. I would be there. I'll be there at election time, Larnell, like I said, voicing what's going on in this situation. Of course, what's going on in other cases. I have talked to family members who have some things I would not be putting out because that's their business. But I will be also advocating for that as well, because law enforcement really slacking a lot of areas. It puts families in a position where, believe it or not, Larnell, you got some family that would not come out as I'm coming out to say things and pointing out what law enforcement not doing. They would also, because they're afraid, hey, if I say something, then they really ain't going to try to help me find my loved one. They get mad, they get all into their feelings. Like I tell you guys on this Q&A, this channel all the time, I can give a damn about law enforcement's feelings. I just want them to do their job. And I don't, when I was in the military, again, we did not approach our mission with our feelings. We didn't, who cares about your feelings? Do your job. You have a mission to do, you have a job to do. You put your right hand up and you said you was going to defend the people, the way of life, etc. The man would tell you in MEPS, would say, did anybody put a gun to your head and say you need to join? No, you join, you put at harm's way, you put up there risk, you do care about your plans. I know everybody there, and the military do all this job. Yeah, we do. But we know we signed up. Nobody forced us to do anything. So I'm saying is our job is to do our job. And no matter what that cost is, that means we may have to work some extra hours, put in some hard, whatever case may be. Shoot, we was on Zoom in Afghanistan. We didn't go see like, but the thing was, I'm telling you guys, it's a job. And I think law enforcement can do it for these other families as well. And that's what I'm going to be advocating. You guys, you probably can see my sleeves right on the shirt. But I will be advocating for these other families too, like I said, during election time.
Most definitely. Most definitely. I agree.
Well, thank you, Larnell. I'm going to go ahead and cut. I think we need to go ahead and cut this. I want to, yes.
Before we start getting messages,
yes, I was saying we probably need to cut this because I know the team about to have a, yeah. I know the team probably throwing their hands up and everything else right now. But I really do want to get a few questions in. So I want to kind of turn things over to the questions, and also I want to turn to putting out this information again about the mail-in protest before I jump off, and also to reiterate on the Unity Candlelight Vigil. So I do want to jump on that. I do think we both, like I said, need to get down to ending the chats for the team. Have all kind of, they have a line of stuff that we go in the chats. We have a line of stuff, Larnell, we had to weed through tonight. So I'm sure I turned my ring off. I don't know if your ring is on, but I turned my ring off for this because I know it's probably going off. They're probably saying something in the chats right now. I'm not even looking.
It's funny.
That's
funny.
Yeah, but definitely want to yeah, thank you again, brother. I really, you know what? I'm gonna put this back up again. I'm gonna have to back this up real quick. This made me laugh. I saw this person put this up just now.
in full
I think you need to see that one.
In all caps. I like that.
I'm gonna hold it there for a while. Let you look at that one for a second.
Oh yeah, like they do in New York, have him do the perp walk.
Oh, that's
right out there in front of all the cameras and everything.
That's right. Yeah. You know, if the person is doing something wrong, yeah, definitely need to be held accountable. So, but yeah, but thank you again, Larnell. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and jump in on this other part of this live so I can go ahead and end it. But thank you so much for being on. Please come on again. You already know that. You know, like I said, you was a lifesaver tonight. I needed that extra boost because you know what? I was about to not really, just be honest with you. I was really uptight about some things that I with the Buckeye Police Department, but you know, we'll go ahead and dissect that report. Yes.
Sounds good. And I'm going to get off and I will be listening to you on the YouTube. But again, you know, anything you need I can do, I'll do it. I'll do it without a doubt.
Yes, sir. That's right.
All right. You guys have a good night.
Right. And so thank you again. You jumped off. Thank you again, Larnell. I know you say, like you say, you're going to jump on the chats. And thank you again for being here. Like I said, you definitely you know, saying being here from day one. You know, I used this before, and let's see if I can find it again. I'm gonna change this up real quick, you guys. but I think I did this again. Let me see if I can get it, if I can find it. But yeah, I just wanted to jump on real quick, guys, before you guys get out of here. I wanted to point out, some of the things that I told Arnell I wanted to do, and that is to talk about this Unity Candlelight thing here, as well as the protest, the mail-in protest. But you know what? We need to go ahead and do also look into doing this mail letter writing event. So I'm going to look into that. Talk to my team about it tonight or tomorrow, and go back from that. Go back to that and try to see if I can get that something set up for you guys. Get those addresses and those contact information. So if you guys are willing, I see that in the chats, and willing to help me with these letter writings, that will help. Also, I just want to go back again, you guys. You're going to hear me say this again, but I can go through this. So I'm going to go through it, and you guys can follow on with me if you can. Those who are new of this, please hit that like, share, and subscribe button. I'm going to go through it, and also I want to get these questions before I jump off. But I want to go through it, and it's going to be really quick. But I have to go through it so you guys can help me in my efforts to locate my son, and as well as putting pressure on law enforcement to do a lot more. So I'm looking at some of these questions. I did see some as I was coming down, and I tried to mark them as I was talking to Larnell. So I had one from Esther here, you guys. Say, question, did Kate work for Instacart? The Caitlin, I think you were saying, no. My son was delivering to Caitlin, and as well as this other young lady. Of course, you guys, like I said, two hour days before Daniel was missing, I had a long conversation, my regular 2 hour conversation with Daniel. Normal conversation. He talked about the young ladies plural, their order with the wine situation that was messed up, corrected for them. He spent the night with these two young ladies that night. This other second young lady, the police department's purposely hiding her identity, who she is. They're taking this lady uploaded her own, as you guys know, text messages into their report. That didn't match they said they want to talk about Daniel's phone. It didn't match his phone records totally, these interchanges with Daniel, as well as, like I said, keeping the secret of this young lady, as well as the so-called camera footage of Daniel. The young lady said she's seen Daniel, her camera coming into the water and things like that. So we need, if you're going to bring that into the report and to try to tie that into some angle where Daniel's been missing, you need to come with the full evidence of everything else that you found. We need to know who the second person is of interest as well. Also, like I said, so no, she's not Instacart person. Question here from Karita. Thank you, Karita. Definitely thank you so much for everything you do. People probably not aware of who you are, but you do a wonderful job in the background with the yard signs and all the other things you do. The prayer, you're a prayer warrior, and I want to say thank you so much for everything you do. You're like the team, so I really appreciate you. You've been a sweet person from the day I met you at that bookstore. I'll never forget you being the same ever since. Are you considering making a Daniel law or a law named after Daniel? One that gives legal consequence what the youth experience and stop the delay of searches for African-American men over the age of 20. We could talk about that because, that's definitely some of the things I was talking about at the beginning, is that urgency that should have happened at the beginning for every case. Saying that lack of urgency would cause me to drive 2,000 miles across the country to get to Arizona. Also, the breaking up their own policies, telling me I had to wait 12 hours just to report. It's not even in the Buckeye Police Department. It's against their own policy. Their policy, you can report immediately. They made me wait a full 12 hours before I can report. That was hours lost that could have saved my son's life. The other part, like you said, I felt that law enforcement, like Buckeye, should get some resources to have a department within the department. Every state that has these high missing person cases should have an agency that is heavily funded to that's all they do. They work in just with law enforcement, but that's all they do, and that should be done by out of the department, the police department, but not by the police department in the sense, if you get what I'm saying. There should be a department that's inside the police department that's all they does is specialize into finding missing loved ones immediately that you report to, and they know they have proper training, equipment. There should not be a family like myself that was out there begging people for GoFundMe money to try to get drones or UTVs and investigator and all this kind of stuff. There should be definitely a agency that can be out there doing that stuff for families, and they're coming out of the department. That's all they focus on is missing person cases, because 1,400 people go missing every year. Arizona is one of the states that I think they're number 4 in the country with the highest missing person rates. So the state like Arizona definitely need that kind of department. So yeah, I want to wish for that as well. So yeah, Karita, thanks so much. You always come up with great ideas. So I would like to talk to you at the back end about some of that. We'll have and see how something like that forward. So thank you for that idea, and I really appreciate that. Also, AZ Nation Native, thank you so much. Did you see the new information released to the Buckeye Police Department, released from the Buckeye Police Department? No, I haven't seen it, but I heard about it. I did some interviews today based on that, and I will be looking at that once I get off here. Also from East San, thank you, San, from where the vehicle was first seen by T, is that 11 miles to where the vehicle was planted? No. Matter of fact, where he claimed that he seen Daniel's vehicle, that was a very short distance near the Wagner Wash, as well as the Hassayampa River, and those 2 locations, the bank, and it was very close. I said they were not even 5 miles away from from that area. It's been more probably less than a mile away from where the vehicle was found. Or initially will be found. Excuse me, guys. I think I'm talking a little too much. You know what happened when that happened. Can you guys give? Okay. All right. So let me know it's time for me to jump off of here, and I don't have my water bottle near me this time somehow. So anyway, but no, that was definitely an area that was real close proximity to where the vehicle was found. So no, it was 11 miles. Also, I know I saw another question here. Excuse me, Creed again. Your case has gone national. Have you had any thought or action about making your case go international? Well, in some aspects, we do have some international people international that will that has been reaching out. So, in some respects, some people internationally have been reaching out. Give me a second, you guys. Maybe gather your case and others and take these American problems to the world or United Nations. Yes, because it's a growing problem with missing person cases, and that's true. And let them know the mistreatment of and inequality, and that's definitely, and that's a good idea. And we will be talking, Krita, because you definitely have some good ideas, and I really appreciate that. That's really good. And that's really goes a long way, and to help other families. Let me see here. I have any more questions here, you guys? I really truly appreciate you guys coming in tonight and staying with me this long. Staying here with Lonnie as well. Thank you, Lonnie, again. I had to put you up here on the screen. I truly appreciate you being here tonight again, being a part and help me out. You guys, if I missed some of your comments here, I do apologize. Like I said, I have some technical difficulties. You see how the screen freezing up really bad and all that kind of stuff. So I really thank you guys for actually staying with all that going on this time. I will be working on that once I get off behind the scenes and see my next live. Will not be doing this. Try to find out what's going on with the network. I'm sure that's where all of this coming from. So thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. A question here from Mark. And can you talk to Kate? No, I make it purposely not to have any contact with that young lady. First of all, she's a young lady to me, and like a child to me. That age group. She's my son, around my son's age, Daniel's age, and I try to make sure I stay away from that. So like I said, you guys, I have some issues when it comes to things. I'm not law enforcement. My private investigator has spoke with the young lady in the past, but I haven't myself. Strange that she immediately told him to come by anytime. Yes. To get the canopy, and then act like she was afraid to drop her. And then you're right, and she have never ever put in a some type of report or whatever the case may be, that type things. And I want you guys to understand too. It's not like Daniel met Caitlin that night and this whole situation happened. No, they've been talking for a little length of time, longer than a day or two that it make it appear or something. So yes, it's a lot of conversation on Daniel's end on text messages that do not match her text messages as well. You guys can look at the timestamp that the Buckeye allowed her to put up on herself. That's again hearsay information that Buckeye allowed up there, and they don't match the phone records. They say that. Prove it. Put it up on the report. It's not there. Also, match it up with Dane's phone record. I would like to see that, and I would challenge law enforcement on that one. And it's because it's not there. So I'm telling you guys, I have those reports, and those things do not match. Also, this is what I got here. Esther, thank you. Just want to know. Okay, so thank you guys. Like I said, I see some things in the chat, but I do see this question here from Esther. Thank you so much for your question. The question here is, did Kate say she was out of town on the 21st, 22nd? And if so, do you know where she went? No, I don't know about the 21st or 22nd. I just know during that time where Daniel was coming to get his canopy. As you guys know, utilize that canopy for his job, keep the sun off of him while he's at these work sites. The ironically to that is Daniel takes this canopy with him, but that particular morning, you guys could see from the footages I had to put the picture out of Daniel's apartment to show you guys what your guys seen on that Discovery ID channel where they say, oh, he had trash all out his mother's. Oh, you can see the pain and all this kind of crazy stuff. Where I had to challenge that and show you guys the actual footage of Daniel's apartment where his kitchen was totally clean. There was no trash hanging out. And because if anybody, at the same time, in the background, you guys could see that canopy was there. That canopy was there because did not take that canopy with him some reason this time to that work site. So it's a lot of questions on a lot of things. Again, to back up, guys, you don't know is one of the things we put together in my investigation. I will release to the public now. Is that there's also eyewitness to someone driving out of Daniel's complex when he went missing with a vehicle that's fitting his description with the same pattern on the dash, filled with 4 white guys. So I'm telling you guys, those are the things that I did see. We have information on, and but the Buckeye Park, the Maricopa, I'm telling you guys, I'm saying police do police job and police work. They will have this information, and I'll put drips and drips to them, and they don't attach to them. And it's a shame for me being a father, don't know how to don't not even put or didn't know how to. Or I just rely on my military training, organizing for the first time, and doing a better investigative work than law enforcement so far. So maybe if the AI says something similar to what Buckeye claimed, maybe I am doing a better job than law enforcement, and they don't have to come in, obviously, because they're not finding those things that they should have by now. And I constantly wonder when law enforcement will catch up with what things that I already know, and they should know as well. And some things I have shared with them, and they are slow to act on, et cetera, and et cetera. And with crazy crap of 10 o'clock they're putting out to the public, and with no basis and nothing to go behind it outside of just saying, oh, I triangulate this thing with the cell phone. Show me. I need to see some ping, some information from the cell phone company, etc. Show me that. You wait till almost 2 years later and come with that crap. I'm telling you guys, they have to dismiss the rancher's take. They have to dismiss the hard physical evidence of the vehicle first accident at 1 o'clock. It can't be in 2 times. You can have the vehicle, the cell phone showing that the vehicle was in that ravine at 10 o'clock in the morning, and the accident happened at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. How's that? Well, that was a slow ride down that ravine. It took hours. It took 4 hours. It took 3 hours for a vehicle to make from the top of that ravine down to the bottom and hit that bottom, you guys. That was a deep ravine. I'm telling you guys. That was so slow motion and fast. I'm saying, you guys, that I would like to see Buckeye Police Department come overcome that hard physical evidence, and it's really made me angry that they try to play that game. Also, here you go, you guys. Again, don't forget about this again. The Unity Candlelight Vigil that would be happening on the 23rd. Like I said, I will give out more information about that for you guys, to how you can participate, how other families can be a part, as well as how I was going to put the information out, how you guys will be doing it at home. Like you did, you guys helped me out a lot from the past when we had the hike for Daniel. You guys had sent videos in showing the hike with your family out in nature. Daniel loved hiking, so you guys did that for his birthday. I truly appreciate you guys doing that. Also, I just want to mention again, don't forget also about the mail-in protest. This is going on every week. I need those letters, you guys. If you can, get those letters out to these agencies. What we'll want, if you guys want individual letters as well, you go to police@finddanny.com for those addresses. What I'm looking for is a judicial change. I want Maricopa County to utilize their judicial responsibilities and open their own investigation to my son's disappearance, as well as turn this case into a criminal case that it is, with the evidence that my investigator and I gave to law enforcement that suggests foul play. And there's a hard physical evidence that's there suggesting that foul play, and they need to be looking to. Also, they have the FBI outside of the Buckeyes friendly with these FBI agencies. I want to see another Maricopa County or another county doing this and see what they present. I want to find out what they present to these FBI agents, but we need the FBI to be involved in this case. Not looking to a case briefing, we need to be them involved. My son was missing in the crime scene. There was human remains. You guys found out there. My son been missing almost 2 years. Clothing on the ground. They're saying it's Daniel's. Et cetera, guys. Those is on federal land. You know what I'm saying? And even if they want to argue that point, close to proximity of federal land, this crime that happened out there cross on federal land, possibly. So it's too proximity, too close, and the FBI should be looking into it. So also, you guys, lastly, I know you guys keep hearing us again. I'm looking for justice, no peace. We demand action. That's we, is us as a grassroots movement. You guys are my extended family. No justice, no peace means that there can be no peace without justice. My son Daniel went missing nearly 2 years ago. It's time for justice in the case, and that's what I'm seeking. My experience, I'm going kind of fast, you guys, to get over this really quick so you guys can we can get off this live. My experience searching for my son, I have put on my investigative hat. Also, my search hat. Search for my son, 49 weeks of searching out there, 35,000 acres of land with volunteers. I've been advocating with other families with the Candlelight Vigil, as well as the A Day of Remembrance, as well as what I'm doing here on this Q&A, what's the Q&A at the time, and some other efforts in helping other families as well. I feel that law enforcement have felt Daniel and my family, and I continually to fight for that. Okay, injustice, you guys. It creates anger, frustration, and a sense of powerlessness. It can lead to social unrest. It can lead to protests. We're gonna work, you guys, to get this justice for Daniel. Because law enforcement was slow to act initially, Daniel remains missing. The Tempe Police Department, like I said before, did not do the initial welfare check. They pushed it off the Buckeye, and then Buckeye pushed it back down to them to get that welfare. By that time, things could have been done, but they do the kind of welfare check I would like to go inside the apartment to see if any foul play happened. They just kind of peep through the patio window or something and say, "Oh, everything's nothing to be seen here." Secondly, my son, the Buckeye Police Department had me to wait a full 12 hours to report. Those time lost that can cause my son's life, cause him to be missing to this day. Also coupled with the fact that the Buckeye Police Department waited almost 3 days after Daniel was missing to do a helicopter search for him that I requested that night, that they canceled the next day. And almost 3 days later, they claimed to this day, don't have them in the files of it, but they say they did had the Phoenix Firebirds to go out and search the desert. Too late, you guys. Like I said, they slow to act. Also, because the Buckeye Police Department, because law enforcement refused to take the physical evidence of foul play that I gave them, that my investigator found, as well as my information that I got received for myself, for my son's case, Daniel's justice is being hampered. These are forensics that I'm still holding on to this day. The Maricopa County have the facility. That's what Buckeye was sending. Have the facility to process the airbags, to process certain things they haven't done to this date, you guys. And I'm still housing these things. And because they're refusing to take these physical evidence and do something with it to find out who may be responsible for Dan's disappearance. His justice is being hampered. The way that the Buckeye Police Department handled my son's case, they broke the chain of custody, et cetera, et cetera. I can go on, you guys. That is hampering Daniel's justice as well. Any defense attorney can get a criminal off on a case the way that the Buckeye Police Department damaged it. Also, I have a solution for this problem, you guys. I'm demanding that the Buckeye Police Department release my son's case to an outside agency that will bring results. And that agency is the Maricopa County, or coupled with the DPS, the Department of Public Safety. But you guys, of course, I want the FBI involved as well. Since my son went missing, the Buckeye Police Department has not found anything to bring my son close to hands. And even to this day, when they say, "Hey, we found information that said the cell phone was there at 10 o'clock," that is nothing that brings my son close, because it's not true. It can't be true, because they had to dismiss again the evidence, the hard physical evidence from the computer, from the vehicle itself. They do not have available cell phone pings. They didn't claim ping. They saying information off the cell phone. They still to date don't have the cell phone pings, the traffic camera footage, nor do they have information from the Uconnect that was part of my son's vehicle that would give the location of where the vehicle was that date. That would have been part of that infotainment system. All zero grids, you guys. Everything that can help finding Daniel seems to be conveniently blocked by the Buckeye Police Department. Now they are blocking other agencies that may be able to help. Of course, and I say that because Maricopa County said, "Hey, if they give it over to me, we'll take it." I guess in a sense, we're not going to take their case. We consist and all. You all this word assist. That goes back to what Larnell was saying earlier. You're gonna find too many departments like Buckeye Police Department was ready to jump on. They found out that I put in a missing person report. I mean, well, looking for Dan, they're ready to take on a case that should have been at Tempe in the first place, Tempe Police Department. So everything that that can help find it conveniently blocked. They say, "Oh, we don't have no footage. Oh, we don't." It's all some excuse. Everything is always finding the reasons why Daniel probably did this himself. He was depressed. The co-workers say, whoever these co-workers are, nameless, said this, or this all kind of things they keep throwing off you guys to block. Also, you guys, now they are blocking other agencies. Like I said, we will continue to fight to change the outcome. We will peacefully protest in two forms. I created a mail-in protest to get targeted departments' attention and action. Next, we will protest at their departments. And, like I said, you guys, after June the 23rd, my goal is to have a sit-in at the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office, as well as a direct weekly I call it a protest holiday for the Buckeye Police Department, because they're like Mayberry. The guys like Mayberry, they close on the weekend, right? So we're gonna make sure we're not doing protests on a Saturday where they're at home eating cornflakes or something. So I want to make sure that we are there when they're actively working, so they can see our faces at the department demanding that my son's case be removed if it's not by that time. So all that will be coming on after my son's after this Unity Candlelight Vigil. I'll be working on that, because that's that. I want to make sure I clear that for my family's sake, to make sure that we are doing something towards Daniel in remembrance of him, and as well as highlighting other missing person cases, helping other families. So next we will protest at the departments. I need you guys to join in with your family. This is a grassroots thing. So again, thank you guys for just even listening in. As you guys have been before, you guys have been to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com, so you guys know exactly how to join in and mail out those mail out those letters, and call them mail stuffers, but those are picket signs. You guys, we just putting it in the mail, same difference, putting it in the mail and sending it out to these agencies. So please help finddaniel.com, you guys. Once you get on the website, of course, you see all the button. I will describe it this time on the live, but since for lack of time, you guys, I want to go here and tell you come down on the main page. Of course, I'm gonna back up real quick. After tonight, this event tab, I'm trying to get some information put in an event tab that's based on this Candlelight Vigil. So, well, for now, you guys, you come down here for your weekly mail-in protest. You can download these PDFs. These are just the pictures, right? You guys, you can go through and see what they look like. Pictures of those PDFs. The one that's like this, like the letters, which is on the end, they're gonna be a little different, you guys. That's the ones that's actually where you're mailing in your letters to the address you see on the letters. It's addressed to these certain chiefs and everything. Let's see. Some reason I have difficulty loading this, you guys. But you send it to the chiefs and also to the sheriff. I'm gonna have to see what's going on with this, you guys. My computer literally turned off and cut back on. So I guess that's a sign from God, you guys. Thank you guys for coming in on this live tonight. Just go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com if you guys can, and you can go there and the information is there how you can download those PDFs. I will hopefully you guys can get those in the mail for me weekly. I help out. Like I said, I would be talking about the information to about the Candlelight Vigil as well. So thank you guys. I love you guys. Thank you so much for being patient with this bandwidth problem I have again. I'll talk to you guys soon. I'm gonna see if I can get all this corrected for the next live. But thank you guys. Have a wonderful time.